2016. 2016 had a lot of ups and plenty of downs for me. After looking through all this footage, I've only now just realised how much I really did take for granted. I discovered a lot this year, not only about my country, but about myself. My New Year's resolution was to say yes to more things. Kind of like the movie Yes Man, but a bit more realistic. It was about getting out and exposing myself to new things I would usually say no to, such as social events, trying new food, going in water, not planning things and just going with the flow, being in public late at night, and things that would usually terrify me. Anyways, I started the new year in Warburton. The new year always starts in Warburton. For New Year's Eve, we had roast beef rolls. The best roast beef I had ever had. That good, it sent my old family dog acting like a puppy. She has been the most alive I've ever seen her this year, and I believe it is due to that roast beef. Climbed up a mountain, because that's out of my comfort zone. I fear snakes. Did I see any? No. But what I did see was the most amazing view, and that wouldn't have been possible if I had said no. My whole family did it with me. We worked as a team and nobody got left behind. That felt great. 1 week later, I had to show Hamish, so we did again. This time was a lot easier as I knew what to expect. Turned out to be a great trip. I went in the pool, I went in the beach. Turns out I love water. I don't know why for all those years I did sit out of the water, even during those hot summer days. Along came Australia Day. I said no to sticking at home, so we drove 5 hours to somewhere that used to be my happy place. I hadn't been there in over 10 years because the last trip I went, I saw a snake. It turned out to be the best trip of my life. Things are so much better now that we can drive and we can discover things for the first time. I even dropped Hamish's new iPhone into a waterfall.
I just dropped this phone into the falls we're just at.
I rediscovered my love for basketball and football. Made it a rule to do a 2-hour minimum every night after work, no matter what the weather or how dark it was. Went on our engagement anniversary to Dalesford and fell in love with horses. I never used to like horses. The day before the anniversary, however, I managed to damage the engagement ring. Even the jeweller didn't quite understand how I did it. Unfortunately said goodbye to my dog life of a rabbit. I will miss that rabbit. Went overseas for the very first time, even though it was our neighbouring country. Caught a red-eyed flight and wasn't allowed to check into our hotel until 2 p.m. Worst experience of my life. Went bowling and fell asleep on a random chair for 8 hours in the meantime. After we finally got some sleep, we drove 6 hours to see some dolphins and boat through a rock with a hole in it. We went into a cave with glowworms, saw some cute guys do the haka, saw Hamish do the haka, smelt Rotorua, hiked up a hill and walked along the outside of a tall building. Got some pretty cool pictures on there. Went home and got in a fight with the family, so we bought a next day one-way ticket to Brisbane because I'd never been to Brisbane. Went to Australia Zoo because I'd never been to Australia Zoo. Saw some awesome shows and got some great footage. Patted a snake. I hate snakes. Fell in love with Hotel Grand Chancellor in Brisbane. The room, the view and the rooftop pool. Fell in love with Brisbane. Went to the Gold Coast because I love the Gold Coast. Flew back and it turned out nobody knew I left. Brought a drone, sucked at flying it. Got it stuck in a tree and had to leave it in the tree overnight. Then I also had to ask my parents for help. They weren't too happy. Woke up at the crack of the dawn the next morning to rescue it and it still worked. But I haven't flown the drone since. Went to Merimbula, unfortunately to say goodbye to someone who will truly be missed. The next day, my mum turned 50 and broke her foot. She felt old. Went to Vivid Sydney and it got cancelled both nights we were there. Turned out to be the most crazy and wildest weather in Sydney. Flew back to Sydney the following week as we were so disappointed for not seeing Vivid. Didn't know Sydney could become any more amazing. Went back to Hotel Grand Chancellor in Brisbane and got upgraded to the best room in the hotel because it was my birthday. Went back to Gold Coast because it's tradition to be in Gold Coast for my birthday. Got food poisoning on my birthday. Went parasailing and paddleboarding for the very first time. I love parasailing but hated paddleboarding. Got laughed at by the instructor because I'm an ex-gymnast who failed to stand up on the board. Went to the snow. I love the snow. Watched wrists at the Olympics She was the only Australian to represent women's gymnastics. She did amazing. Rushed Hamish to the hospital multiple times. I hate hospitals. It was quite funny, however. Hosted one of the biggest events of the year. That meant speaking on a microphone for 2 days straight. Biggest accomplishment of my life.
Fantastic. Moving on to our shooting stars division. Let's give a drum roll for third place.
Went to the EJ Legends game. It was a draw for the very first time in history. Found a skull in a public park. Back to Sydney because I love Sydney. The whole trip was purely just to get some new Instagram photos. Hamish wasn't too happy. Finally walked around the outside of the Sydney Eye Tower and posted my first ever vlog, which involved me speaking 2 sentences. Went along the whole of the Mornington Peninsula to capture a 20-second video, and the video didn't get too many views. Had another fight with the family, so I applied for my first house. Got it within a matter of 24 hours and didn't realise how easy it was, so I rejected it. After the guilt, I took my mum and sister for a girls' weekend in Holes Gap. They loved it. Although it rained and rained and rained, we discovered so many cool walks because it wasn't snake weather. Saw a deer for the very first time. Didn't even know deers existed in Australia. Went to Morning Peninsula to do a 20-kilometre walk to the point of the peninsula. We got 100 metres to the point. Somebody told us to be careful as there was a brown snake slithering around. So we never got to the point. However, we did see some cute echidnas. My dog turned 16. She's old. Went apartment looking with my mum and fell in love with one. Decided if I used her till after Christmas, I would be able to afford the one I wanted. Hosted the second biggest event of the year. Once again, choreographed the coaches dance, which was a huge hit this year. We dabbed, nay-nayed, and even did the mannequin challenge. Thanks to Visit Surfers Paradise, we got sent up to Surfers Paradise and had the most amazing hotel room in Mantra. Hiked all over the Gold Coast to find a good view of Surfers Paradise. Little did we know the view wasn't from a hill, it was from a faraway beach. By the time it got to that view, there was a massive storm. Came home and missed Queensland, convinced my sister to go for her birthday and that I needed to visit a uni. But little did she know, I surprised her with taking her to Australia Zoo. She is an animal lover. Fell in love with tigers and patted another snake. Missed the last bus out of the zoo because who knew the last bus out would be half an hour before the zoo closes. We bonded for the very first time in 16 years. Ended up having so much fun we missed out on our flight. Paid a ridiculous amount to get home as I had to work the next morning at 7 a.m. Did Vlogmas and became a little less camera shy. Saw lots and lots of Christmas lights. Went kayaking in the Yarra River for our work breaker. Once again, something I would usually say no to, and it turned out to be the most amazing experience. After Christmas had finished, spent 5 days making this video. And I wound up back in Warburton, because New Year's always starts in Warburton. After reflecting on 2016, my New Year's resolution was certainly achieved. I had done a lot this year and achieved a lot too. My 2017 New Year's resolution is to finally buy my own property, progress on my mental health, and make YouTube my second job. I already have so many ideas for 2017 and where my career is heading. I can't wait to start professionally doing what has been my passion and hobby ever since I can remember. 2017 is going to be my year.